Everyone, if I could, unfortunately, if I could interrupt your chatter for a little bit, we're going to get started with some of the events for this morning. As we get started, I would like to definitely recognize, and it's a big thing for our campaign as well, that we want to recognize we're on the traditional land of the Secwepemc people. We've got Mike McKenzie here that is going to be here to give us an official welcome. He's a member of the Secwepemc Nation. Mike, if you could come up.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Wide tip, Skelskin cookie, in Secwepemc Ulu Kaslakwin. I'm from the Shuswap Nation. My name is Mike McKenzie. I come from.
Just hang on a sec. Just hold it down a little bit so Mike can talk. I'm just gonna turn the sound up a little bit.
Okay. So I'm from the Shuswap Nation. I come from just down Skeechiston area by Savna in the Deadman Valley. So I'm here today on behalf of really young people and really integrity, really our future. And I'm here to welcome you to our territory and to welcome these individuals who are about to step forward into their campaign and to set them off in a good way. So thank you and welcome to the territory, and thank you, Dan and Donovan, and have a great breakfast. And if you ever want to come out to Skeechiston or come out to the land, just let me know. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mike. So as all of you obviously know, Hello Toast has prepared a lovely, lovely buffet for us this morning. If you haven't already, most of you have, but feel free to dig in. It's $15. It goes straight to Hello Toast. Whatever beverages, coffee, so on that you get, you pay for at the counter as well separately. Couple housekeeping things, really minor. Washrooms are down the back hallway over there. And if you haven't already signed up to help out Dan and Donovan in their campaigns, we've got a table over here with all the information that you need. We've got some of our amazing volunteers that are there to help you out. So please definitely do that. As well, we are taking donations as well this morning. It's one of the unfortunate things that you have to do at every event in every campaign, especially with the Green Party, because we are not accepting any union or corporate donations at all. We're leading the way with that, walking the talk. And also on the topic of donations, it's, a lot of people don't realize there are very, very healthy tax benefits as well. Especially here towards the end of the year, it's not very long before you see a large portion of that money come back. Our goal is to raise $50,000 for the campaign. It's going to pay for a very competitive Green Party campaign, BC Greens campaign. And Kamloops really has never seen anything like this before. Even right now on a Wednesday morning, 18 below at 7:30, 8 o'clock, to have this place as jam-packed it is right now is crazy. It's amazing. So thank you guys very much as well for coming up. And another great way to help us out is get the word out with social media, Facebook, Twitter. Follow our pages, like, share, retweet. All of that really does help. When we're able to use the power of social media and expand our message beyond our core group, that's where it really starts to go viral, and that's where it really starts to make a big difference. A couple quick introductions. Both of you, or all of you, probably know both Donovan and Dan. But just a little bit, Donovan was raised on a farm, family farm out in Chase before he moved to Kamloops. He studied culinary arts at UCC before it was TRU, and founded his own award-winning business, Conscious Catering, a little bit over 10 years ago. In 2011, Donovan ran and was elected for Kamloops City Council. He was re-elected in 2014 for a second term, and he's served on the board of Southern Interior Local Government Association for the last couple of years. He's worked tirelessly to defend the interests of the community that he was elected to serve. And I'm very pleased to introduce the next MLA for the Kamloops South Thompson. Isn't that awesome to say? Donovan Cavers, please come up.
Thanks, Tyler. So I'm going to keep my remarks fairly brief today. It's nice to meet a few people that are mainly connected with Dan this morning. But this is a phenomenal turnout. It's very flattering. 7:30 in the morning. I think we've got like 60 or 70 people in here. It's really great to see. I just wanted to touch on one kind of point this morning, and that's the Ajax mine. So most people have heard me talk about it before, but in the provincial context, so a couple of little things you might not know about the project. So KGHM Ajax, they've donated $55,000 to the BC Liberal Party so far. That's more than our entire campaign budget will likely be. And it connects with the problem with big money in BC politics. There's so much special interest money, and though politicians claim that it doesn't influence their decision making, it certainly does. So I'm going to be hammering on both the NDP and the BC Liberal candidate in this riding because it is a critical issue, and they would be happy to not talk about it at all, but I'm not going to let that happen over the next 3 months. So I really just want to emphasize, really appreciate the support. It's very touching and flattering that so many people would come out and support us so early in the morning. And I also wanted to say as well, thanks to Ryan, the chef. You can hear him kind of in the back. I told him we'd have probably 60 people and maybe half of them would eat, so I know he's in panic mode because I think it was more than like 10 out of 10 people are eating. So thanks, Ryan, if you can hear me.
Awesome. And Dan Hines as well, many of you know him. He was born in Kamloops to a ranching and logging family and has called this region home for over 3 generations. Dan's really quite remarkable, varied career. Has started, in his very first job at a sawmill, through to his work as a minister, a small business owner, and a university instructor, and a nonprofit manager. Together with his role as a father of 2 daughters, it's put him deeply in touch with this whole community. He's seen a lot here. For the last several years, Dan's worked in Canada and internationally as a leadership consultant and is a sought-after workshop facilitator. He also is serving right now as the forestry spokesperson for the BC Green Party. So let's hear it right now for the next MLA for the Kamloops North Thompson, Dan Hines.
Wow, thanks everyone for being here. I'm really grateful. This is really about changing the way that we do things. Donovan and I, when we were talking about running and what running was going to mean to us, it was really about sort of changing the script, changing the narrative. And Donovan already talked about one of the issues. It's a huge local issue. But it's going to take us also into just talking about provincial story as well that has to be told differently. This is a really tender morning for me. This morning, a year ago, my dad died. I got the call from my mom. It was just a bit before we came here for breakfast that Dad was gone. He died in his sleep, and she was there with him. So I drove over to the house and said goodbye to my dad. So February 8th is one of those marker moments now in my life. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to speak this morning in honor of my dad, so I wanted to speak his name aloud, which is Garfield. So the cat was named after him, apparently. So I'm going to get more sort of lofty and dreamy rather than issue-oriented this morning, because I saw a film on Saturday night that George Johnson had brought into town, and if you're available to go to his play this weekend, it's the play's called Mockus. And you can get tickets at Kamloops Live box office. I'm going Saturday night. If anybody wants to join in on that. The play and the film was about what happened in Colombia, sort of between 2010 and 2014, 4 years. And it was the Green Party in Colombia and a candidate named Antonis Mockus They basically won the 2010 election, but because of incredible voter fraud and manipulation, they actually lost that election. But the movie and what George is going to do in the play moved me, and it brought me back to seminary. I went to seminary in Kentucky, and at seminary we were exposed to liberation theology, and we had some speakers come up from South America, and it's a movement in theological circles that really began sort of in the 50s and 60s and got going with base communities, incredible movements of theologians and scholars and activists. I thought it was shaping my theological understanding, but it's actually shaped my political understanding. And so it's about freedom. It's about freedom. And so I want to give you my list of freedoms this morning. Every progressive social movement, the Greens, this whole movement's about freedom, and so it's the freedom to make wise decisions that are actually based on the evidence, right? It's the freedom to name what needs to be named, and it's the freedom to actually own what needs to be owned, and it's the freedom to speak truth to power. It's the freedom also to claim our own power, our own agency, and then to act from that place. In BC, I think it's the freedom actually to stop the fire sale of our resources for corporate short-term interests, for a very few people who are reaping the results and the benefit of those profits. It's the freedom to move away from an old colonial story that we call Canada. It's the freedom in a rich society to see that the benefits that we enjoy are actually shared by the greatest number of people. It's the freedom, and this is important in light of the Trump election, it's the freedom to tap into hope rather than fear. It's a freedom to not be trapped in our denial and avoidance, but it is to look at things like climate change and global warming, to look at growing inequality in our society, and to be able to look at those things right in the eye and then to say, well, how do we respond to that? How do we creatively react to that? Donovan touched on this, but it's a freedom for us who are running to not be the servants of rich patrons and donors who give us money to buy our campaign and to pay for an election with strings attached to those dollars for favors later on. It gives us a great freedom as leaders to actually do what's right. And this morning, it's actually a freedom about mobilizing together for the kind of future we want to create. It's the freedom to affect each other in the invisible fabric of our connectedness. So this is all I offer. This is my only pony trick. This is all I'm selling you, is mutual freedom. That's all I've got. That's all I've got in the hopper. That's it. So let me end. I just want to end with some words that come from Grace Lee Boggs. She's an amazing social activist, feminist, writer, thinker. And I think it speaks to actually what we're doing this morning. And I love this quote because it reminds me that it's not about the numbers. I mean, this is exciting to have all of us here together. And there is something beautiful about numbers and kind of a gathering like this. But it's essentially much more about the connectedness between us. So this is what Grace Lee Boggs says. We never know how our small activities will affect others through the invisible fabric of our connectedness. We never know. In this exquisitely connected world, it's never a question of critical mass. It is a question always about critical connections. All right. So, we have 92 days of work ahead and lots of opportunity. And so if there's any way that you want to jump in and be involved and join us, let us know. And this morning too, a really simple way to do that is just to make sure you pop over here, and Kirsten's manning the booth here with Alistair, and they can help you out over here with anything you want to do as far as helping out. Okay, thanks again.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Dan. And another person that many of you do not know, he just arrived in Kamloops a couple days ago. I do want to introduce Jordan Bober. He's our campaign manager. And having worked on campaigns in the past, having a professional guy that knows what he's doing it's amazing to have him here. Jordan is a seasoned Green Party campaigner, and he's experienced with every level of politics. He's been a big part of 2 breakthrough municipal campaigns with the Green Party of Vancouver, 2 provincial by-elections in Vancouver and Prince Edward Island, he achieved some of the best electoral results by Green candidates ever in Canada while he was out there. And Jordan was also recently working in Prince Edward Island, where he was part of the campaign team that won the provincial plebiscite in favor of proportional representation. So it's amazing to have him here. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. It's really, I feel like a very, very lucky guy that Dan and Donovan called on me. No, but I honestly, I feel really, really lucky to be here in Kamloops. It feels like this was the place where I was meant to be this time. I've been a part of some really, really great campaigns, but what I'm seeing in Kamloops is really an unprecedented perfect storm of winningness, I think, because we've got candidates who are ready to win. I mean, they are so motivated. They're getting out to the doors every day. They're almost obsessive about it, even in the cold. I've never seen such an amazing, dedicated, and large group of volunteers coming together this early before an election in support of those candidates. And I've never seen a room like this packed at 7:30 in the morning. And this isn't even, I used to live in Vancouver with a population 10 times the size of Kamloops, and I would have been biting my nails saying, I don't know if we can do it, if we can pull it off, but this is a winning team and a winning set of candidates and a winning community. So thank you very much for coming out, and I hope that you'll get involved and help us spread the word.
Yeah, great.
And last but not least, one of the ways that we can create some serious momentum out of this launch is a really good visual. And I think that a really good visual would be if we could get a bunch of these signs distributed out and just kind of hold them up and create a sea of green amongst ourselves that we can take a good picture of and let everybody else know that couldn't make it today what happened here in this room. So if we can just distribute these, I hope everybody will indulge my little fantasy to see this sea of green. Thank you.
All right, so while we hand out the signs, I would like to take a quick moment and just thank everyone again for waking up early this morning. I know that when my alarm went off, I thought, do I really need? Yeah, I need to. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming out here. I realize that it was a big effort, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Please enjoy the rest of your breakfast and connecting with both Dan and Donovan.